What if you had the enemy's playbook? What if in competition you knew every single move they were going to make because you had read the book, you had read the playbook, and you knew exactly what they were going to do next? Well, my next book, Unrestricted Warfare, some would say does exactly that. Let me go into the details of this book, and I'll let you, the audience, make your own decision. So Unrestricted Warfare was written in 1999 by two Chinese colonels who I struggle to say their last name appropriately, so you can look it up yourself. But the book explores how a weaker nation like China could defeat a stronger power like the United States through unconventional and asymmetric warfare tactics. And while some do consider it a blueprint for Chinese aggressions, I think that's a bit hyperbolic, and others do view it as a theoretical exploration of future warfare possibilities. What I see it as is a book written just like many of our officers that go to warfighting college, they write a paper, and some write a book. I view it as a concept, not necessarily doctrine. However, it's one that I highly recommend people read. The book argues that in the age of globalization, warfare has transcended traditional boundaries. Military force isn't the only means to achieve victory. Diverse avenues like political warfare, economic sabotage, information warfare, and psychological manipulation can be employed without adhering to traditional rules of engagement. And so in many ways, it's taking the current concept of how we fight and saying that's an outdated concept. What many in the Department of Defense would refer to this as is DIME, diplomatic, information, small m for military, and economic. And this book argues that you need to exploit the D, the I, and the E, but don't attack the center of gravity, the big M, military. Utilizing legal and economic tools, they look at how you can exploit international law, loopholes, manipulating financial markets, and disrupting critical infrastructure, and how that can weaken an opponent without direct military confrontation. So attacking not necessarily the enemy's strength, but certainly their weakness. Information warfare, launching cyber attacks, spreading disinformation, and influencing public opinion through media and social media manipulation can sow discord and undermine an enemy's morale. And we see that going on today. We see an awful lot going on in social media and certainly in media as well. Psychological warfare, targeting an opponent's cultural identity, manipulating religious beliefs, and inciting internal societal unrest, which can cripple national cohesion and decision making. And if you look at anything that's going on today in the United States, you talk about how we're very divided. And a lot of that is because of what's going on and using that psychological warfare. Terrorism and unconventional warfare, certainly using proxy forces, supporting insurgencies, and conducting unconventional attacks, which can inflict casualties and drain resources without direct engagement with the main military force. And so what this is really saying is, why build a large Navy to go up against our Navy? Why build a large Air Force to go up against our Air Force? Why build a massive land army to have conventional warfare up against our army? That is our strength. Here's a different model. And that's what this book really does a great job of doing. So my three big takeaways. The first one, they want to blur the lines of war. Traditional distinctions between war and peace, military and civilian, battlefield and everyday life are no longer valid in the modern era. This creates new vulnerabilities and potential battlegrounds across the political, economic, social, and technological spheres. Boom. You see that happen today. Second takeaway, the asymmetric warfare for weaker powers. Militarily weaker nations can exploit these blurred lines and their opponents' reliance on traditional warfare to wage asymmetric conflicts. This involves using diverse, non-military tactics like economic sabotage, cyber attacks, information warfare, and psychological manipulation to cripple an opponent without military confrontation. This is also why space is so important to us, because space is that critical enabler for everything we do in the air, in the land, sea, and also in cyberspace. And if they can deny or degrade our ability to use space through a variety of different methods, whether that's jamming or non-kinetic means, they're going to take advantage of that and make us more of an air, land, and sea force, make us rely on those bigger powers. All right, and my third big takeaway, the shifting power dynamics. This new approach to warfare, which isn't actually new, it's an idea and a concept that's been going on for quite some time, can level the playing field and potentially allow weaker powers to achieve strategic victories over stronger ones. That's the whole goal there. It challenges the assumption that the military might alone determines the outcome of conflict and emphasizes the importance of adaptability and diverse capabilities in modern warfare, using the diplomatic areas, the information areas, and challenging us economically. This book is why many in the Department of Defense are looking at better ways to integrate SOF, Special Operations Forces, space and cyber to deter aggression. And some have called that the new triad, but that's a confusing term. I just say the SOF, space, and cyber triad. It's the concept of gray zone competition and possibly gray zone conflict. Really good read here. I enjoyed the book, but it's not the end-all be-all. It's not CCP doctrine, and I think people that read it and think it is CCP doctrine are being a bit hyperbolic here. I do think, however, it should be read by everyone in uniform, and I highly recommend it for the average citizen as well, especially because context matters, and they need to understand what's going on in the information environment, what's going on in social media, and who's likely behind a lot of this. So, for these reasons, I'm placing Unrestricted Warfare on my 2024 reading list. And I'd like to know what you think. What are your ideas? What do you believe about the book? Have you read the book? Share your thoughts and your comments below, okay? Thank you.